Winter is a time that drives most cyclists inside to ride on trainers and basements and heated garages and guest bedrooms. But there's a whole group of us that ride all year long. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, snow tires are awfully expensive. So is it really worth my time and effort and money to invest in a set? And the answer is, that depends.
Hi friends, I'm Josh Gaughan. This is Erie Bicycle. Last year I tested a set of Schwalbe winter marathons in a snowstorm, which was ridiculous to even think that snow tires on a bicycle would be a magic bullet for the amount of snow that was just not really passable. So this year I got a set of Schwalbe Marathon Winter Plus in 26x2 for my canopulator, my recent Schwinn Sierra build. And I started riding it to work because I like to ride year round, and it's real world riding with snow tires that I could actually maybe help somebody decide, are snow tires for my bicycle worth the time, effort, and money? So the thing is, snow tires are worth it if the terrain and the amount of snow and how the roads are treated and what kind of roads you're traveling, how those are in the area in which you live. I live in Erie, Pennsylvania, home of Griswold Cast Iron, the Pizza Bomber, and large winter snowstorms that lead to very poorly maintained side streets. Now, the side street part is important because that's how I get to work and back every day. And because Erie is not a large city and metropolis, we don't really have any bicycle infrastructure. We've got a couple of painted lanes, and that's it. And that has a lot to do with why I'm always in the high vis gear. So what I found was icy, hard-packed side streets are totally passable, no worries at all. Like your first trip, maybe you might take the corners a little slow just because you're kind of waiting to see how the studs act and if you're going to end up ass over teacups. I didn't. I traveled at about the same speed as I normally do because everybody's got the little Strava computer, it tells you. So for me, they've been worth it. Now, one of the other things that I found is as the snow gets like a greasy layer, that like kind of not quite packed layer on top of that hard pack and ice, once it starts getting greasy, that'll move, and you might get some of those moments where the bike wants to give you a little jerk that you've got to correct real quickly. Probably like riding in mud or slippery conditions. But the snow tires, once they everything shifted underneath the tire, it was fine. It seems as the greasier or the thicker and slushier the snow gets, the more difficult it is. If you want to continue to commute or just get out and ride in the winter time, or maybe you've replaced your car like my friend Heather, snow tires could definitely be worth it. Definitely worth it. It definitely could extend your riding season. If you live in the conditions where you've got streets that are clear enough and you don't require a fat bike, usually intersections where the main street has been plowed and where all the traffic goes are clear, and as you cross those intersections, there's usually a buildup of snow and ice and slush, and it's kind of difficult to negotiate. If you have a friend that has an old set, maybe they've decided to go with something different, that could be an option. I gifted the Kendas that I had to my friend Dave so that he can try them out as I've moved on to the Schwalbe Marathon Winter Plus. So that's kind of my story. I think that they're worthwhile. They do work. They're not a magic bullet for deep snow or any conditions that just aren't rideable, you know, that a bicycle just can't really travel through or negotiate in a manner that's negotiable, in a way that's reasonable. So that's my short take on snow tires. But one thing that's really worth mentioning here is what goes with snow tires, or should go with snow tires, in my humble opinion, are fenders. Because where I live, what is frozen at the early hours of the morning will be a sloppy mess when it warms up and the sun comes out in the afternoon. And that sloppy mess will soak you. It'll coat your bike, your drivetrain, your cables that run underneath, anything that you have in your basket or rack. Fenders are probably in two camps, just like riding inside and outside. Fenders are awful. Oh my God, only goofballs. And people that like to keep themselves and their bicycle clean. Fenders are a must-have with snow tires, in my opinion. So, with that, I bid you a Merry Christmas and holidays, or whatever it is that you celebrate or don't celebrate. Have a nice day. How about that? Thanks for coming by. Please come back again. I'm Josh Gahn. This is Erie Bicycle.